Hi there, my name is Tye Dandridge-Evancio. I am a curator and self-proclaimed artist, and I guess this is my show here at Wasagaming Community Arts entitled The Cabela Boys. So my show is all about the fact that I am both a queer male and also a queer artist, and it's each of the paintings that you see on display here represent an exploration of myself in both those capacities, both allowing myself to be a queer male and explore that side of myself, but also to be a queer artist and represent queer things in my art, such as nearly naked men in camouflage lingerie. This series came about when I was actually first starting my master's. It's kind of funny how it happened. I went in doing printmaking and I came out doing painting. I was initially doing almost anything and everything to kind of avoid the queer aspect of my identity and to kind of just run away from that side of myself, because to make a long story short, I didn't really think that these two sides of me could coexist. I didn't even really see that as a problem, and it wasn't until someone kind of brought up that they I guess thought it was weird that, I hadn't ever, as a queer male, done anything about that, in my work, which, quick caveat, just because you're gay doesn't mean you have to do work about being gay. However, I guess for me personally, when I kind of opened the door, gave myself permission to explore that side of myself in my art, it kind of, changed a lot for me. And so this is the result of that. The idea for Cabela Boys actually started when I was wandering around the outdoor sporting goods store, Cabela's, which, if you don't know, it's an outdoor sporting goods store for all your hunting, fishing, hiking needs, and almost everything else in between. Yeah, it's got like fish bait, it's got outdoor clothing, it's got rifles, arrows, and also, if you go to the women's section, a large, super tacky lingerie wall with pink camo bras and panties with pink lingerie. And I was actually there originally with my parents to just pick up, I think it was actually just to pick up a pair of gloves, and so I was just in the women's section with my mom, and I was so tickled to see that, just because for the implication, I guess, that, an essential part of any, hunting women's, wardrobe or collection is to have these items of clothing that are, clearly meant to be, in the bedroom and be seen in the bedroom. Just for, doing my due diligence, I did check the men's section. There wasn't even, there was barely even any like underwear with camo on it, which was very disappointing because I also just wanted camouflage underwear. I digress. Let alone anything, that could be classified as intimate wear. So again, I just went back to this implication that intimate wear was somehow essential, to the outdoor women's wardrobe. And I took it upon myself to essentially create a series of images of men incorporating said lingerie as an integral part of any hunting man's wardrobe and equipment kit, per se. And that's kind of where the first Cabela Boy emerged. So initially the series began kind of as like a slightly more scathing critique. It kind of gears shifted when I realized I just kind of fucking loved these beautiful idiots wandering around the woods with their, their camisoles and their negligees and their garter belts. And so I decided to just make an entire series of this kind of group of men and kind of narrating their exploits as they go about on a hunting trip. And so that's where it began, and one of the things you'll see throughout a lot of these paintings is that there's kind of like a key character who I've kind of just nicknamed Bashful. He's kind of like a younger, slightly more innocent type character, and a lot of the paintings kind of depict his relationships with slightly older men as kind of acting as kind of mentors or kind of like brotherly, fatherly, best friend figures in kind of varying degrees of there being kind of tension, affection, and kind of, unconditional love, and which basically became kind of like a sort of a loosely based narrative paralleling my own, I guess, exploration of my identity, as well as kind of expressing the desire, I guess, for the kind of mentorship or queer representation that I felt was lacking when I was, growing up. And, honestly, I think for a lot of people that didn't have that growing up was, a question or kind of request for it even now. So that's one of the most prevalent things is mentorship, and also just community and relationships, and kind of the desire to find others that are similar to oneself, not just for caring and nurturing, but also for guiding and helping to teach self-acceptance. So the main point of all my work is to provide representation for the queer community, stuff that I wish I'd seen growing up, and I think doing what I think that all artists of any group, not just queer, but people of color, people of disabilities, people that aren't neurotypical, should be doing, which is just to take up space. I think that's the most powerful thing you can do, is to just insert yourself, into places where queer people, not necessarily even just where queer people are excluded, but from places where you want to be, and where the things that you like, places where you feel that you're comfortable and that you want to be seen, and say, hey, I exist, and I matter, and it doesn't matter. You can debate about the ethical issues, the morality. You can agree, you can disagree. It doesn't really matter, because the fact is, what we can all agree on is we exist, and we deserve to be seen, and we deserve to have a platform. And if there's one thing that people can walk away from my show understanding, it's that very fact, that regardless of what you think of me, what you agree or disagree, in terms of the imagery, in terms of the ways I've represented the characters, their narratives, the imagery. I think I just said imagery twice. The clothes they're wearing, regardless of any of that, whether you like it or not, they exist, and deal with it. So, thank you very much, and have a great day.